What's going on, guys? Here at 11, a great day today, and today we are back to talk about the latest episode of Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. This is episode number 6, titled A Gloomy Song. Before I get into my thoughts, I want to hear what you thought of this episode, so head on down to the comment section below and let me know. And while you're there, I'd really appreciate if you could leave a like on this video and subscribe if you're a fan of anime and Japanese gaming content, and you want to see plenty more coverage on Witch from Mercury in the future. But now, let's dive into the episode. After defying his father's orders, Guel is kicked out of House Jetuk. Leading up to her duel against Elan, Suletta must come up with a forfeit for her opponent if she wins. As the duel is set to take place in space, the Earthian house helps Suletta in creating and fitting thrusters to Ariel. The biggest reveal of the episode comes in with the Elan we know actually being a double for the real Elan Cares. Whilst the duel itself is close, Suletta once again emerges victorious, with her stake being that our Elan has to tell her all about himself. The episode ends with Suletta waiting to meet Elan into court with Pale Technologies disposing of this Elan double. So after this episode, I think there's a lot of interesting stuff that has been set up moving forward to what we could do with certain characters and where the plot could potentially go. Of course, we are going to talk about that giant reveal and what it probably means for the show moving forward and potentially some of our other characters, but there are some other things that I do want to talk about in regards to this episode. First up being Guel, who has now been kicked out of House Jetuk, so he's essentially a lone wolf. This could make for some really great character development for him, because he's now got to fend for himself. He doesn't have the backup of his father, who is this very rich and powerful man. Whether he's going to try and join up with the people in the Earthian group, that's yet to be seen. I think it's highly unlikely, but if he remains kind of on his own and like this middle ground between everything, I think that could make for a really cool dynamic and, give this character something really good to do in the future. Alright, maybe I lied. There's not a whole lot to actually talk about aside from all the stuff surrounding this big reveal and some of the early stuff we do get in the episode that kind of adds to a lot of the stuff that I'm about to talk about. Okay, so for those that aren't in tune with the conversation surrounding this series, there is a big theory going around stating that Ericht is now Gundam Ariel, Suletta is a clone of Ericht. Now, I only just saw this theory after watching this episode, but if I'd seen it before, I would have said, this is wild. There's maybe a slight possibility that this could be true, but generally there wasn't a whole lot to back it up. After this episode and all the stuff that goes down here, I think that just about everything could back up this theory. And it does sound crazy because pretty much what it's saying is that our main character is actually a clone of this other character that we saw, and this other character that we saw in the prologue is a part of the Gundam that we're seeing. And there's really two major things that add completely to this theory. First off, most obvious one being that because Elan is a clone, this, basically sets up that cloning exists within this universe of Gundam. The second part is surrounding Prospera, who is the mother of Suletta in this series, and specifically a line that she says where she says she trusts her daughter. Now, most people, and myself included, everyone would kind of pass over that line and think, of course she's talking about Suletta, she has faith that she's going to be able to win this duel. But if you look at who actually wins the duel, it's not Suletta, it's Ariel. It's because of Ariel that the duel is won, because Suletta just would not have been able to get out of that situation on her own, and it's shown that Ariel completely gets them out of that situation when she's saying, I have complete faith in my daughter. Is her daughter Ariel? If she's referring to her daughter, she's referring to the real Ericht, who is a part of Ariel. So that's where you have your two pieces of evidence that really back up this theory. One being that Elan's a clone, two being Prospera's line about having faith in her daughter, and her daughter possibly actually being Ariel. Now the thing is, I'm not 100% sure if this was actually a clone of Elan or someone who had just, had some sort of plastic surgery or something done to the face or something to make them look like Elan, and if next episode it comes out that that was just the case, this theory's kind of been blown out of the water and probably not actually going to be a thing. But if it is revealed that, yes, they actually made this copy of Elan, then this theory is still very possible. Alright, so with the theory stuff out of the way, what do I think of the episode overall? I thought it was, once again, really great. My problem with this series now, and especially after this episode, is that Suletta kind of seems like she's never going to lose. I was hoping that this would be the time where Suletta loses a duel. And technically she did, and Ariel kind of won it, but it just shows that she's almost got plot armor to a degree. It shows that, next duel, whenever that happens, she's probably going to win that, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one. This kind of seemed like the one time where if she's going to lose any duel, it's going to be this one. Outside of that, though, this is probably one of the more emotional episodes. It calls back to the prologue with the happy birthday song. I think every time we get a tragic moment in this series, it is probably going to be accompanied by that song to some degree, or something relating to birthdays. There's probably going to be some sort of birthday massacre, I bet, in this series. Something akin to like the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones, where loads of people are going to die, and it's going to be on someone's birthday at a birthday party. That just seems to be a recurring theme in this series. So it's probably going to build up to something involving a birthday that is going to be absolutely crazy. As always though, the animation and the action is great. The actual duel was fantastic, as it always is in this series. I'm hoping that we actually get something that really has stakes when it comes to the duel, an actual duel that is not within the confines of the school. I want to see some proper Gundam fighting where people can actually die and, people are attacking to kill. And I know, it's going to come eventually, all in due time, but I just want it now. But those were my thoughts on episode 6 of Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. Before I get out of here, I'd really appreciate if you could leave a like on this video and subscribe if you're a fan of anime and Japanese gaming. Make sure the notification bell's turned on so you know exactly when my review of each and every episode of this series goes up. Above all else though, I want to hear your thoughts on this episode, so head on down to the comment section below and let me know. What do you think of this theory surrounding the cloning and the whole Ericht is Ariel, Suletta is a clone of Ericht? Do you think it's a credible theory? Do you actually believe in it? Or do you just think it's completely out there and really not possible? As always, thank you so much for tuning into mchat today, and I'll see you all in the next video.